At this very moment, the teams that will compete in the 2026 Formula One season are at the Bahrain International Circuit for the first of two crucial pre-season tests. The rules have changed this year, so they are absolutely obsessed with shedding weight. Those teams are currently drilling out every possible gram, using thinner carbon fiber weaves and even stripping paint off the cars to leave bare black carbon just to save a few hundred grams. While spectators will see cars flash past at 200 miles an hour, engineers in the pits are looking at a sensor, a reading that says a specific carbon flap is vibrating by less than a millimeter and it's costing them 0.005 seconds. In a sport where the top 10 is often separated by less than half a second, those tiny changes could be the difference between a podium finish and coming nowhere. And here in the world of demolition and construction, we are equally obsessed with marginal gains. Equipment manufacturers will spend millions of pounds in R&D chasing that elusive 3% increase in hydraulic flow or a 5% reduction in fuel consumption. They refine the geometry of a bucket, the kinematics of a boom, or boost slew speed just to gain that little bit more productivity. And equipment owners follow suit. We buy premium fuel to ensure we're squeezing every possible ounce of tractive effort from those tracks. We insist on genuine parts and lubricants that cost a fortune because we know that near enough isn't good enough when it comes to uptime. We monitor telematics like hawks, looking for any idle time that might be bleeding the project dry. And yet all of that might be for nothing. All those productivity gains made by the manufacturer could be lost for one ridiculously simple reason. The machine operator didn't get enough sleep. We all know operators who leave the house at 4 a.m. and don't get home until 8 p.m. By the time they've had a bite to eat, had a chat with the wife, and watched a bit of TV to wind down, they may have been awake for 18, 19 hours. Science tells us that 17 to 19 hours of wakefulness, a standard day for many of the people in this industry, results in performance levels equivalent to being at the legal limit for drink driving. Every day, this industry allows fatigue drunk men and women to operate heavy machinery in high risk environments. Let's look at the cold, hard numbers. A sleep deprived brain experiences a 20 to 30% drop in cognitive speed. A tired operator's reaction time slows by 12 to 15%. There's a 10% drop in fine motor skills. Sleep deprived individuals lose up to 50% of their executive function. They make poor calls. They take shortcuts. In our pursuit of those marginal gains and maximum machine uptime, we wouldn't dream of running a diesel engine 500 hours past its service interval. We know the oil will degrade, the feeders might clog, and eventually the engine will seize. And the human brain is no different. Sleep is the oil change for the human operator. It's the period where the brain flushes out toxins and resets the neural pathways required for high-level coordination. When we deprive our staff of rest, we're effectively running our most expensive assets with dirty oil. We spend thousands on telematics to tell us if a machine is being over-revved. Maybe we should be doing the same, looking at the telematics of our people. If an operator is yawning, irritable, making small, uncharacteristic errors, that's a warning light. It shouldn't be ignored any more than a low-pressure alert on a hydraulic circuit. And there's a pervasive myth in our industry that more hours equals more work. We see a deadline approaching, and our first instinct is to power through. We ask operators to stay on for an extra hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, or we pull them in for a weekend shift on top of a 60-hour week. But the data is clear. Beyond a certain point of fatigue, the quality of work drops so sharply that the operator is essentially just burning fuel and putting hours on the clock without even moving the project forward. A fatigued operator is more likely to cause a machine strike. They're more likely to damage the attachment. They're far more likely to misinterpret a site plan. When you factor in the cost of those errors, the downtime, insurance premiums, the structural repairs, that extra 3 or 4 hour shift might become the most expensive afternoon in the history of that contract. The great irony of the construction industry is that we often work longer hours to get more done, only to find that the output per hour drops so significantly we would have been better off going home. A well-rested operator can move more material in 6 hours than a fatigued operator can move in 10. The fatigued operator will have more rework, more dead time, and a significantly higher risk of an incident. If you're paying for premium fuel and top-tier equipment to save seconds on a cycle, but your operator is losing minutes because they're too tired to think, you're pissing money up the wall. It's time we stop viewing sleep as a luxury or a sign of weakness. In the professional demolition and construction sector, rest is a technical requirement. It's a safety specification. It's as vital as the ROPS on the cab or the hard hat on the ground worker's head. We need to treat fatigue management with the same rigor we treat asbestos surveys and structural engineers' reports. It's about more than not just falling asleep at the levers. It's about being sharp enough to spot a hazard before it becomes a headline. In short, you could buy the best equipment available. You could invest in expensive parts, fuel, and lubricants to extract maximum performance from your fleet. Or alternatively, you could just give your operators time to rest and recuperate.